Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Everybody in chat, salute the president immediately. Everybody stand up right now. Salute. Salute. USA, USA, USA. 2-hour speech. USA, USA.
Well,
Sorry I was late, guys.
It's really
Burns is an immoral, morally corrupt, bankrupt man.
Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States.
45 minutes before he breaks. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. We have company. This is Riley Grace Rochong. Is it? Is it your house? Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? All I need to do is find one of those negligent landlords who kick you out, and then I can take over.
Oh, really? You're gonna go out and you're gonna find one of the negligent. By the way, that we testified against today. On the Safe Homes Now Act in Baltimore City Council. So yeah, go tenants' rights. Sorry, I'll try to. I'm not gonna like soapbox stuff that's going on over here, but lots of cool legislative stuff for tenants in Baltimore happening, and Dylan was able to help out with that today. So that's super. That's like super cool.
That's why I'm late. We're gonna listen to this Trump speech. If you're angry we're not listening to it right now, don't worry. I promise you he will go on and on and on and on and on and on all night. So we're here to stream that however long it will be. We'll step away. We'll come back. We have a chalkboard behind us. We'll keep score. We have bingo card sheets. So we're ready for tonight. We're ready. We're ready.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation.
What up?
Got a full house today. We have bingo cards. Bingo cards. We'll take note.
Damn right.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Roaring economy. Roaring. I can't hear myself think.
After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
Okay, border, it's on the bingo card. Border, it's on the bingo card. Yeah, we have different cards.
In the past 9 months,
Economy,
0
Trump,
illegal
PRX,
aliens
Canada,
have been admitted
RFK
to the United
Jr.,
States.
Bobby, 8 wars, Greenland, Melania Trump, Venezuela, Make America Great Again, impeachment, Gavin Newsom, Ballroom, Chuck Schumer, midterms, Nobel Peace Prize, Mitch McConnell, Minnesota, tariffs, third term, Vladimir Putin.
But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Illegal immigrants.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
To be clear, inflation right now, month on month, is like 2.9. To be clear,
dollars a gallon in some states.
Yeah, we
under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster. It is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Mortgage Charlie Kirk and Nobel Peace Prize.
Just the Charlie Kirk and Nobel Peace Prize, and we got bingo already.
The typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Note that for 2025, we had a 108,000 manufacturing job loss for last year. So whatever commitments he has been told, we have had manufacturing job loss over his administration.
$18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
I know that there's a bingo item for commenting on like hot soldiers. I don't know if that counts.
No, it's a hot country.
Hot country, okay.
Factories, plants, and laboratories are being built.
Not enough.
We have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
We got it. I got off the list. Is the URL where people can find this stream? Somewhere.
American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to
somewhere
drill, baby, drill.
Dylan Burns TV, Dylan Burns Live. Dylan Burns Live. Dylan Burns Live. Pornhub. Yeah, no, YouTube.
More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
No, the reason that is because they've laid off so many government workers. So, of course, all the job growth is in the private sector because you laid off all the public workers.
We ended DEI in America.
DEI in there? I don't mind.
We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps.
You were saying?
So these are things that are, the bingo cards are from USA Today. So I'm surprised that there are some things on here. Ukraine is not on here, and DEI is somehow not on here.
It is the 4-year anniversary of them starting the war. No mention of Ukraine. I doubt any mention of Ukraine is going to happen tonight.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
There we go.
Wait, so specifically the men's team because they couldn't get the women's team to come out because they refused the invitation?
After there was a joke about the women's team coming, yes.
Understood. Go to like a party in Vegas instead of this, or yeah, fuck this shit.
Honestly, I don't know. It's the State of the Union, you know, it's history.
I mean, you know, they can do what they want with it. I'm not sure.
Hurricane Katrina was also history, to be fair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do I think the hockey team wants to be there? Absolutely. I saw how they were reacting to Cash Patel and Trump like a few days ago. There's footage of it. They absolutely want to be there. Judge Sport.
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. I'm not sure what that
says about Canada.
And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
Wait, when did that become a thing? I thought that they specifically turned down the invitation.
I think they might have turned down the invitation for this, but not going to the White House.
Oh, okay.
They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
So just like focus a lot on Team USA, which I mean, like, you know, good job for them.
No.
But then like kind of shift the focus away from how the current administration is actually doing.
He threw out like a few things at the start about the economy, like a few numbers out there, but it is already 9:30 p.m. People are starting to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Now. So this is the little bit people got if they're watching it in its entirety and not just clips in the morning news. Was this impactful? I don't know. Probably not.
They've also been attacking American Olympians every other day.
You practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah, it took him a second to get there.
Yeah.
Took him a second. Also, he gave that medal to anyone. Rush Limbaugh got that medal. You win
really?
one medal, gold medal, you get the medal. I mean, I don't know. Feels like just about anyone. I mean, if Tucker Carlson caught cancer, he'd get the medal.
Is that the one where there's a meme of Obama giving it to himself?
Yes.
And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I
Shout
said,
out to
I'm not
Obama.
giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much.
They are in fact in matching uniforms. That is how that works, yes.
I'm also pleased
they're
to say
cheap.
that the next time the Olympic
Whoa.
torch is lit, it
Crazy
will be
concept.
here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
Isn't it in Utah? At least their logos are doing it in Utah.
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
Oh god, I remember when this was a thing like early on. There's been so much shit that's been happening.
The DC troop deployment has saved our city. Unless you go to up there in Anacostia, they don't patrol up there. But besides there, they've saved the city. Except for where all the murders are.
Strange things took place, and now I've got them.
But if someone was going to murder you at the feet of Abraham Lincoln, you're safe.
Already
FIFA
were
World
safe,
Cup,
all right?
and I wanted to
DC is
claim
famously,
the
like, if you were
200
going around the monuments and whatever, like, you famously, like, walk around at midnight. Like, that's what, like, I've done that before when I've been
You're
in
under
DC.
Lincoln's gaze. You're fine.
Like, the best time to go and see the Lincoln Memorial. Because there's no other people there.
That is true.
So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart, At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Now, Chet, do you think it was the one on the left or the right here? That's the veteran. I can't tell.
Also, like, I'm sorry, is this just gonna be a whole speech of just like celebrating other people who have independently of anything the administration's done, like, achieved success?
Yes, this is a tactic used by other presidents, but he loves it, and he's gonna do it up until everyone's at bed at 10, and then he's gonna go off the rails.
We salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives.
No, he just said he was there. What do you mean he was there? He was on a raft, like guiding them out. No, he went after. To be clear, if he said you were there during 9/11, that doesn't mean that you flew in the next day and was like, oh, that looks pretty bad.
He was operating that weather machine, Marjorie Taylor.
He was operating the weather machine. What, dude?
Where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission. A young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Billy Kate, but 164 others to safety.
Discussed earlier, what's the one?
They would have turned passports, yeah.
What's the prolific fan? No, the website where you write like a bunch of.
AO3?
Yeah, AO3. Yeah. No, it's got to be on there.
And they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
Yeah, that was a great question.
It's more of an award show than it is a State of the Union. I think you were under a misconception by the name State of the Union.
And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the
What
heroes
country?
who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
What does a big tax cut matter if you immediately pair it with the largest tax increase imposed by the chief executive in American history through tariff implementation? Like, it does, if you do a big tax cut and then say, don't worry, to be paid off by tariffs, and then have your tariffs ruled illegal, how does that work?
Against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
Well, going after the Dems now.
They
Biden's coming up.
wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and
Schumer
with
could not
the
look more
great,
evil.
big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Reminds me of like when Zoran Mom Diamond came to visit, and like for some reason Trump absolutely loved him.
He did love it.
Yeah, it's like the weirdest.
And we also
Good
made
vibe.
interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
They are running iceberg on an entire American car building facility in the South.
Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night
Beautiful
as her
children.
husband works overtime.
This is terrible, but I thought he was going to say 2 beautiful children. 1,
She's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on
my stream
overtime,
now.
and
Hello,
our
chat.
expanded child tax credit, again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $1,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it.
Oh, that's right. This is a thing.
I did not name that.
Yeah. It didn't. I'm trying to remember. I didn't follow
Nobody
everything, but didn't they
believes
already
me, but I
start
did not
discussing the
name it.
idea
It
of
was
being
named
able to
by a
like
very
sell a
tall man
contract or
sitting
something?
right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof.
You can make a bad investment.
Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan
Dylan, your chair has
Dell,
been stolen.
who have donated $6,250 million to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children.
Golden shower economics.
They're great people.
President Trump, please golden shower my country.
When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions,
What's going on now?
these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing. Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to TrumpAccounts.gov. TrumpAccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs.
It's definitely the Dow.
I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money.
There's no fucking deals. There's no money being made. He just came in, and so now the deals are good, just like NAFTA.
And 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
The Supreme Court said,
hey, Democrats applauding the Supreme Court. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, he's powerful. Country's saving. It's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in.
How much he screwed over the country
Peace
with
protecting.
Enabling the administration as much as he has.
Was because of
like,
the
Jesus
tariffs.
Christ.
They've been able to settle them without.
Like Justice Roberts in particular in this situation, because he's created a monster.
And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
So he's still going to try to do that, is what I'm hearing.
He wants to replace the income tax with tariffs with no congressional input. That's the plan.
How regressive can we make these taxes?
Mind you, this is after the Supreme Court specifically struck them down as unconstitutional.
Yes.
Fuck. And trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. To put America first. I love America.
He loves America. Why don't you know that? He loves this country. You liberals.
For decades before I came along,
tough day to be a lawyer.
We had the exact opposite.
Been a tough year
from trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration. Everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
Sitting there and literally, like, the vast, or I don't want to say the vast majority, but like a large amount of the increase in prices is literally a result of the tariffs. Like, directly, measurably a result of them trying to sit there like, no, it was the Democrats' fault. Like, are you fucking...
He's been president
They
for
knew
400
their
days.
statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those
That's
prices
all of the
are
good
plummeting
experts, the
downward.
best experts, and by that we mean no experts. Just trust me, bro.
We used to no money, and now we have big money.
Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly.
I hear people in con law class in law school are having it's awful right now. It's if you think you're having a tough time, law students are in a are just as bad off, if not worse, right now.
Thick circle of hell.
When they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act,
Medicaid.
sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year, as their stock prices soared 1,000,
they don't have an original criticism, so they're saying, oh, what do people accuse us of? Well, it's their fault.
Whatever people are angry about, you have to divert it towards Democrats.
The great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
He said he'd have a health care plan in 2015.
Yeah.
2015.
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
Almost here.
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
I think economy is all. Yeah,
Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action. But I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price. So in my first year of the second term,
Yeah, you're off screen.
should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Bingo. TrumpRx.
I would not have thought that was going to be anything like that. No.
And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband.
You joked about a third term. We missed it.
But he did?
And they turned to IVF.
All right.
One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
Is an immoral, morally corrupt, bankrupt man.
Thank you for the sub.
Congress to codify my most
Have any
favorite
of the
nation.
people he's presented been like people of color?
No.
No, I think he's not very. I think he's a little problematic.
Maybe a little.
I think he's a little problematic.
By 700 or 800%.
Maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Anyway.
The viewers can
They
decide
may
on
do
that
it.
one.
Codify it anyway. Thank you.
Just
Many
a
Americans are also
observation,
concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory, so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership.
I read it backwards.
With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes.
For big government regulation.
I guess.
It's like Orban. When the election time comes around, you get a little populist to make up for the amount
And
of
now
selling
I'm
out.
asking Congress to make that
interesting,
ban
like, how much of
permanent
this is
because
focused
homes
on,
for
Economic issues.
It's all. It's. This is like 60% economics.
Yeah.
You obviously know that his economic message is failing.
Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
We will protect the Medicare and the Medicaid, just not the subsidies for them.
Balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year, as we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market. Let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
30 years of work is $30,000. Not enough for retirement. There's not enough retirement in West Virginia.
The insider trading information is interesting because that would be, I mean, that's something I think our companies can, if they can actually follow through. I don't think they're going to follow through. That would be interesting to see follow up on.
It'd be interesting to see any follow through.
Yeah.
Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
Ukraine flag.
Oh shit! Hey, there you go.
There's one.
I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud.
The only
for
shout
that.
out.
I'm very impressed.
USA Today doesn't remember, but we remember.
But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. We have all the
Bingo! Okay, I got my
actuality, the
bingo,
numbers much
which means that Trump can't be president anymore. We win. The left wins. Economy, Joe Biden, third term tariffs in Minnesota.
This is the
Hell
kind
yeah.
of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation,
Beautiful.
and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe.
I was rigged.
So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
That's funny. J.D. Vance is leading the fight against fraud. Investment, okay, you know, that's not a human capital.
Presumably going to be running in this election.
Imagine the guy who originally came out and said, I'm a never Trump guy, and is now the chief
We'll get it done.
fangirl of Donald Trump is the best guy.
And if we're
ever.
able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The
Bullshit.
Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where
Fuck
bribery,
you,
corruption,
cunt.
and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception.
Get fucked.
Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open
Actually
borders
eat shit.
brings us problems right here to the USA.
Where'd you just
And it is the American
that's
people who pay the price in
What
higher
did they say
medical
about that?
bills.
So
The Somali community of Minnesota are incredibly nice. They're good people. The Somali I mean, he's playing off of stereotypical bullshit. I mean, he doesn't care. He's won his second term. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, he doesn't give a fuck. Nick Shirley hasn't been able to prove anything. You know what I've been able to prove? That the right-wing media industrial complex is devoid of talent. That's what I found.
Special ed Shirley aside, all of the abuse of people is based on racism, and claiming immigration as the reason. So they're trying to paint black people as foreigners. That's why. That's why Somalia.
Car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk,
Sorry, I was
have
so
a good
excited
life.
for being able to actually get something on my bingo.
She wouldn't
It's
even
been,
be
like,
able to
forever
eat
now.
again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Oh shit! Actually, people of color. I think that's the first time that there's been someone acknowledged in person of color the entire time.
You've won this woke round, Mr. President. Beautiful kid.
Has Donald gone woke? Like your vibe title.
Give me a long Nick Fuentes stream about this.
Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Restricted on ID, and then they're going to require ID for everything. stacking lots of these effects.
Will that stop them from driving, or will that just mean they drive without any? There will be literally no standard.
At the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country. How we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families.
That people who don't have citizenship status can't get driver's licenses. Like when
It depends on what state. In Maryland, I think it's possible. I don't remember, but I remember there being a discussion about it.
Okay. When I was
And I know that in some states it's legal.
all right.
Was supposed to perform
Could have sworn. I'll double check.
Because when I was at the state's attorney's office, I would have a lot of driving without a license case. And then for people who had immigration issues, usually they would be driving without one because of that issue. So it's like,
yeah, but it's state law.
Arrested alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
Is she undocumented? Still undocumented?
Yes, he's married to an illegal.
I don't believe that. You're gonna have to give me a source on it. I actually don't believe that can't be true. That would be too on the nose. Fate wouldn't allow it.
Look it up.
Look it up.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border.
$50,000 bribe earned by the FBI. When he got into office, they shut down the investigation, and they still give him a job.
yeah.
As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support.
Okay, to be clear, it's past 10 p.m. It's 10:05, 10:06 p.m. Everybody's going to fucking bed. This is what he's deciding to spend this time on, right? So you got to understand, like, each minute that passes, less and less people are listening to what the president has to say. There'll be clips of it the next day, but the clips are going to be around his most outrageous stuff, like him calling the Somalis in Minnesota pirates. It's going to be focusing on, like, for the right, like, particularly emotional moments of people who have been victims of undocumented immigrant crime, and it's going to be stuff like that. So this, to me, like, the longer this goes on, for the people who actually stayed up and listened, like, if they walk away from it just feeling tired and deflated, like, is that an accomplishment? Is that an achievement? Is he doing a good job? I don't know. I think Trump is his best when he's a little wily, and he's showing no wiliness today besides, like, a little bit of, like, oh, the Democrats, they're at fault. Like, besides that, like, I don't know. This just seems like he's really sticking to the teleprompter, which is a good thing for unpredictability, but also I think it kind of removes some of the wind in his sails, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows he's a little bit fucked with the polling right now. And so right now he's probably trying to, like, he's been told by his staff, like, hey, you gotta stick really close to what we're telling you to talk about, because otherwise, like, you might actually be in some trouble. You know, like, you can't just wailing on the culture war issues are not going to be as helpful at this point.
No, I don't think it's helpful. I mean, like, he can slam the Democrats. It's much easier to slam Democrats. Democrats are more unpopular than Republicans. Still, like, the party is still polled as less popular than the Republican Party. Wow. Yes. So the area that's easiest for him is always going to be on the attack, which is what he prefers anyway. But this is a state of the union, not state of those motherfuckers over there, you know?
You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
He said you should be ashamed. Do you think they told him not to say the word pedophile because people might start calling him one? I think 100% was somebody was like, stay away from Epstein, stay away from Epstein, stay away from Epstein. He's not going to talk about Epstein. I don't think he wants to talk about Epstein. So I think that'll be easy for him. Very easy.
Asking you to approve the Save America Act.
It's genuinely kind of disheartening to see, like, the Republican Party stand up in the unison to support him. Like,
To stop illegal aliens.
I do want to also throw out there that the Save America Act, which is supposed to be a security of elections act, includes a clause in it which would also ban state and localities from having ranked choice voting. So a election security act removing localities' ability to manage their elections in a way that is in respect of the Constitution, which is states manage their elections, federal government just kind of overlooks the general operation. So is it a security of elections law, or is it we're going to dictate to the states they can only win elections in ways that serve the two-party dynamic law?
State government.
In order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
Did you say he's polling 89% including Democrats?
Yes. Yes, he did. He said
From fucking what?
He's pulling 80% with Democrats, of course.
Well, they found 89 people who like him.
I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
You want to know what I want to see from Democrats? I don't care about the SAVE Act, dude. Any passage of it would require extreme reform. Any legislative priority for the Republican Party should be held hostage over aid to Ukraine. They did the same thing when it came to the border when Ukraine aid was an issue during the Biden administration. No reason why Democrats can't do it.
Because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat, they have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
He just wants to abscond the Supreme Court. He's like, nah, the Democrats are the ones who cheat. Also, fuck you, Supreme Court. I'm going to do tariffs anyway. I'm going to do it my way with blackjack and hookers.
It doesn't matter if we cheated or didn't cheat anyway. If we win, if we lose, no matter what, he'll reject the results if he's not the winner.
Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy
transgender.
And hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe,
Transgender
isn't it?
Transgender.
Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
Remind you, sometimes people do transition. Oh boy. I really hope that this is not someone who is, in fact, a trans man who, like, was forced to detransition and now has to be in front of the world stage.
National spotlight.
That's
15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we've been talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it.
It's a little something I've been working on.
Westmore chopped off my cock before my mama.
Westmore is going to knock on your door and steal your children and trans them.
He said, show me your willy, and he just went, wow.
Oh my God.
We're going to move back to the house. We're going to replace ice with a new yard, the two-story house, and steal it.
Democratic cock capture is out of control.
We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time.
Because they're stealing your children and they're going to train them. That's what
Transgender for everybody.
USA.
USA.
No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it?
Out of touch.
Who would have believed that? Over the past
Also,
year,
in the Epstein files,
she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a
it's just so
landmark
weird for them
executive
to be
order on foster care.
It's just so weird for them to be talking about protecting the children when, like, oh my God, nothing has been done with the information in the Epstein files, and they're talking about protecting fucking children.
Hey, a scandal about abusing children is what's taking down Viktor Orban's government right now. We have this type of scandal happening amongst multiple government officials, Howard Lutnick, Trump, everybody, and it's taking down nobody. People in the UK right now are going to prison. It's taking down nobody here.
Ladies' efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna roll to impeach the president. 6.
Fuck!
We're not impeaching the president today, boys.
Any better mods for rolling shit? 6 is a fucking... 11.
They got stopped in the house. Oh, we get the third term.
I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years, and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
No way he believes.
This is especially
No
true
way.
among young people,
But also,
and a big part of
there's a lot
that
of
had to
other
do
firsts
with
associated with him as
my
well.
great
No, he's
friend,
not a man.
Charlie
guy.
Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Charlie Kirk, got it to mention.
Oh, Charlie Kirk. All right, I'm one away.
Charlie Kirk.
So last year, Charlie
I just
was
need Nobel
violently
Peace
murdered
Prize, and I got bingo.
by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
We carry the flag. We fight for the gospel.
Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love
Political violence
religion,
is
and we
bad.
love bringing it back, and it's
But God,
coming
they've
back
tried
at
to- they
levels
want
that
him to be
nobody
MLK so
actually
bad.
thought possible. It's
And it's
really a
just-
beautiful
it's not
thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again.
He's literally a criminal.
We're honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte,
Ukraine
North Carolina.
But it's
And by
only
the
in the
way,
mention.
what's going on
Ukraine
with
is
Charlotte?
only getting mentioned. Ukraine is only getting mentioned on its anniversary of the full-scale invasion in reference to his stuff on crime. We got to imprison these crazy people on the train stabbing people stuff. It has nothing to do with the war, nothing to do with the invasion. On the anniversary of the invasion, it's to bring in the stabbing incident, which has since then been horribly racialized. Because, of course, the worst people don't actually give a fuck. They just want to drag her corpse around and use it for their racialized politics. Mind you, if she was blown up by a Russian drone in Kharkiv, nobody would give a fuck.
He spent more time calling children beautiful.
Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
I'm sorry to say it. I think that the president really cares about you.
I don't think he's gonna do much.
Yeah. Sorry to
I'm starting to lose faith. I don't think I'm gonna vote for him a fourth time.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
Good. They told him a little bit. Come on, it's like prime sundowning time. Like, let's just go, just make him, just push him over the edge.
Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Probably mostly because they've implemented policies over the past 5-10 years that have steadily reduced crime measurably even for anything that Trump has done.
And what even is the plan? Is the plan for there to just be troops in DC forever now?
I guess.
It's just forever troops are just gonna be patrolling the street. That's the fucking sustainable law enforcement policy. It's costing them billions of dollars for these troop deployments.
Yeah.
And where does that come out of? The military budget,
So
which has a
even
set
for the
amount. It
troops-
has. Fucking-
The South Park episode.
They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her. So sorry. Thank you very much. A
How's the
great young
country
lady. I
doing?
saw
Can we talk about
reports that were
that?
like,
No.
perfect. She was perfect.
If he does, he's
Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought
Also,
he could
everything
possibly
is great.
make
There are
it.
no problems. There is no
Two
war
of
in
them,
Washington
Sarah
State.
and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right.
You know what? Maybe the Democrats should take a page out of this book in the future. Like, maybe people don't care about policy, actually.
We did do stuff like this. We would just do 1/3 of it. We wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't make it half the goddamn speech.
Like,
At least Obama didn't.
Yeah.
But hey, then again, Obama was down 15 when he had his second State of the Union. So
By the way, that
I
was just
said,
a
where
guy
is
who's
this
in
woman
the
come
hospital.
from?
I mean,
She
like,
was the most positive
guys,
person I've ever met.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
he got shot in
We've
D.C.
got to help
and he
Andrew
survived.
has battled back
I
from
mean,
the
you know,
edge of death.
wounded
And
hero.
We're talking about the edge of death. On his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks,
a
Andrew.
good-looking guy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd kiss him. I'd kiss him.
The State of the Union is deeply closeted.
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
We have so many of these things made during World War II, preparing for all of our young boys to get killed, trying to invade Japan, that most of those given out are still World War II issued Purple Hearts. And we nuked them in the war.
Military person, I feel like fair into all of this. Because I know that there's been a lot of, or at least the rumors have been that there's a lot of people in the military, especially like the higher ranking officials, who are really pissed off with how Trump has been handling immigration.
That's not surprising to me because they actually have to deal with the management on a day-to-day basis outside of the aesthetics of having a Secretary of War who can fucking like punch your back.
Yeah.
Why
Throw an
the
axe.
alleged alcoholic?
You all. Love you.
Legend alcoholic.
We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia.
Yep, we got
Isn't it funny?
8 wars.
Sick
Laughter.
people.
That's the response. Yes,
Cambodia and
please. More of
Thailand.
that.
Pakistan and India would have been
Didn't
a
do that.
nuclear war. 35 million people said
Marco Rubio.
the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not
yep,
for
yeah,
my
Marco Rubio.
involvement. Kosovo and Serbia,
That wasn't a war.
Israel and Iran, Egypt and
You didn't, it's
Ethiopia,
about to happen again.
Armenia and Azerbaijan,
Wasn't fighting. We need
the
to.
Congo and
Still
Rwanda,
going on. Villages burning.
and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds
600
at a
people have
very
died
low
since
level.
then.
It's just
Also
about
Gaza, we
there.
got Gaza.
And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared.
I mean this, and I will not say this for many men on planet Earth. I will not. He's not on screen right now, but he said thank you, Jared, and he said thank you, Steve Witkoff. I don't know if he's at the event. I will throw a party when Steve is dead. When he is dead, I will throw a fucking party. That man has punched way above his pay grade, and now he's dragging a lot of people into graves for no good reason. Marco Rubio looks angry. He does not look like he wants to be there. He looks ashamed to be associated with the administration.
Good.
That's my first take looking at his face.
It was Marco Rubio who assumed he was associated with this.
It strikes me
People
as like
like
a
you.
sellout that he kind of knows he is.
You know,
whereas,
Marco
like,
got
JD Vance is a sellout,
100%.
but he isn't quite self-aware, I think.
JD Vance is not self-aware,
I
no.
think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think
Marco.
he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that?
So, is that true? Is that, didn't the negotiations ceasefire and then immediately fall apart?
Well, the thing is, there's still technically ceasefire in place, but over 600 Palestinians have died since the ceasefire has been declared.
Oh.
So there's like a question of like how much ceasing is in your ceasefire. It's not as bad as it used to be. Obviously, that's a positive.
Their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead, of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And They finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying.
All right, Ukraine, but actually,
there we go.
A war which would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened.
Boo.
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America.
24 hours.
2 more weeks
we
and 24
must.
hours.
24 hours.
That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
if you were president, and also if he became president, you would get rid of it on the first.
It wouldn't happen if he was president.
For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people.
Reminder, he said if anybody dies, he's going to do something. He's going to strike. He's going to attack. Fucking 6,500 people are dead minimum in Iran. Some estimates have it into the 20 to 30,000 number. So that's the range. He didn't do shit. Still hasn't done shit. Even if he did do shit now, it would be too late to be correlated to those killings. And so what does that say about a red line? That is an Obama-Syria red line moment that, because of how Trump constantly overwhelms the news media system, got like next to no attention.
They shot him and hung him. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them.
80 people, 6,500 died. He didn't save anyone, and he didn't stop them from hanging them. He suspended the sentences, meaning they could still be hung in a year. Who knows?
And our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have
annihilate. He said he annihilated it. It hasn't even been a year, and now we got to go bomb him again to take it out again. Sounds like we didn't annihilate it.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong.
You are referencing.
Because hopefully we will.
He like got rid of certain initiatives on like first like DEI or whatever. That's like the best I could think of for what he. Because I know that he tried to.
He spent more money.
Okay.
The way that it works is it doesn't even have to do with like how much total product you got. Like when he talks about defense spending in Europe and what they need to do, it's hit 5%. 5% on what? 5% spent how? You can spend 5% all in your domestic defense companies and get very, very little, or you can concentrate those funds and where it's going to be most cost effective and spend half of that, but get more. But he just thinks about total numbers because that's all he can think of. So what did he do? He increased the budget. That's what he did.
At my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of that.
Point proven.
Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4.
They could pay 10, but if they just spent their money more effectively, more accurately, then they could actually spend less and get more. But again, it's just that's not how this administration thinks.
And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full.
I'm surprised that he's
They pay us
keeping it together
totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776.
$1,776, get it?
They put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things. A lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, "What's the number?" $1,775. I said, "Wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have $1,776. It's going to." I said, "We're going to figure that." I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar. I said $1,776, and I said, "That's good." And I'll tell you what, our military. That was 4 months ago. Our military. I never see a person.
Mind that military payment, the 1776 payment, that only went to like 2/3 of the army. A third of the army didn't get it because they weren't considered the warrior class, meaning that if you were a mechanic, but if you were like an infantryman, then cool beans.
Oh, the thing, it sounds similar to like the $50,000 signing bonus that's promised space people, and it turns out that actually that's not what was promised. That's actually will be paid over time, and then space members end up quitting.
We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country.
Anything that he says, I'm like, oh, I promise, oh, look at this great money that we're giving out. It's like I'm not inclined to trust it.
There's no reason to incline to trust anything he says.
Really large parts of Mexico have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that.
Just checked yesterday.
Very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
That's not funny.
We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January.
Yeah. I'm seeing people in the cast he's milking for every single little thing. Mind you, all the stuff that he takes that he had nothing to do with, right? Like all the other people who are just independent success stories, which some of them are cool. He had nothing to fucking do with. He just gets to ride off of their coattails.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's a lot of presidents.
Yeah, but you'd at least
But he's
expect-
particularly good at it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
particularly good at it.
Impressive. Very good. They couldn't believe. They all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force than we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important.
Seems to mostly be satellite communications and like maintaining stuff like that, which is significant enough. That's significant.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It just is not the image people had.
yeah. I mean, like, if we were watching, what's the one show about, like, if, the alternate history of the U.S. where they go to space?
For all mankind.
Yeah, for all mankind. Yeah. Like,
More that.
gotta watch.
To end the reign of outlaw
really
dictator
cool.
Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to...
Yo, what gets me about this Venezuela stuff is he did not engage in regime change. He engaged in autocrat change. He took the person who was in charge of the entire corrupt Chavismo establishment, he removed him, and then he was replaced with Delcy Rodriguez. What changed when it comes to the structure? What comes when it comes to the abuses? What comes when it comes to changes when it comes to the mismanagement? What changes when it comes to all of the things that led to Venezuela being in the failing position where the president can be black-bagged in the manner that he was? What else is changing? Because what you could end up just doing is kicking this can down the road because the president is afraid of putting any boots on the ground, overcommitting, looking like he's a pro-war president. But, like, I mean, he hasn't changed the country. So he can't really claim much victory from Venezuela unless the victory he's claiming is they won't export fuel to Cuba anymore, which is really, like, that's the main accomplishment he's gotten.
Interesting that this is perhaps one of the only times where Democrats are also standing up.
Yeah, because they all hate Maduro and they all hate the Chavismo regime.
Yeah.
And so they might be doing it out of either signaling respect for the people, but
yeah,
it doesn't. It's not a policy endorsement, but of course, like, getting any standing from the opposition for Trump is good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, like, what are you gonna do? Sit down out of spite if he brings up a cancer victim?
Yeah.
No.
Enrique, have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a massive Chinook
that'll be a night
carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology.
I think I can still get
How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces.
Apparently they just have holy water in
And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, Legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter. To deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him.
He had to clarify the angle of the blood
escaped
trail.
the wrath of the previous planes.
Like a movie scene.
Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turn the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely,
Thank you for coming here before the whole country. Now let me explain in excruciating detail the most traumatic instance of your life. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs. Of the bullets, and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy, come on in.
Built. Sir, I cannot lie. You are very large. I take back all of my moral critiques.
So we have a surprise. Eric and Amy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what are you?
In recognition of Eric's
there?
actions above and beyond the call of duty,
Like, damn, all right.
I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Reel it in. He got shot 4 times. Yeah. And then took the man who shot him and ripped him in half like a hay bale.
It's also something like either neutrally or positive. Like, you know. I imagine that the programs get what you do for the world is pretty I'm curious.
He found out he can bench press one Maduro. He doesn't fit in the camera frame.
He is like
there we go.
Yeah, he's like very so I am curious and actually it's getting good because I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising.
It's not like usually when you made the shot to like.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy.
It's just like inspiration for it.
Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it back. We brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House. And Eric will be there. Thank you, Eric.
Want to be here.
Yeah. I think most of them are hyped about it, though. I think most of them are probably hyped about it. I mean, you know, you speak, you get honored in front of the whole country, right?
Navy fighter pilot Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam.
Cat, pay attention to this. This is interesting as hell, actually. This was secret for like 70 years.
Over Korea in 1952. Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
He seems pretty hyped.
No, I mean, like,
I mean, what the equivalent today would be like you just shot down 4 Chinese jets over Taiwan and you have to be quiet about it. That I can't like the significance of him shooting down like Soviet aircraft during the war is very, very big.
So why wasn't allowed to speak about it?
Because that's World War III starting. You just shot down Soviet aircraft directly when we're not supposed to be directly at war with the Soviet Union in Korea.
Okay.
But American air power in Korea was very dominant, so there was a lot of desire from the North Koreans for like the Soviets and the Chinese to do something about it.
I guess it kind of reiterates what I was saying earlier. Like, again, a lot of these stories are cool. This is also, it's kind of fucked that, like, the president is clearly using this as an excuse to try and, like, distract from the fact that he is doing a horrible job managing the country.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of this is great. It would be cool if they all got their own streams where they gave them awards and explained what they did. And they used the State of the Union to primarily talk about the State of the Union instead of the state of, like, old man McSmiley face who, like, saved a kitten from a tree or, like, saved 100 U.S. Marines or, like, did any amazing cool thing.
They just line up a bunch of victims and use them as like PR human shield.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But, you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you.
This is now officially the longest State of the Union in history.
Really?
We're getting pretty long. Somebody just threw it in chat. I'm going to go double check and see if that's true. But, I mean, we're almost on 2 hours.
250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. 2 of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human life.
This is the longest. The longest before this was Bill Clinton at 1:28. This is officially the longest, headed towards midnight. We're about to cross the 11-hour mark.
Everything we have achieved has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom. The strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful.
Trump, if you get tired, just freebase from the stand and keep going.
Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies.
Like the early history.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's wrapping
up.
From the chains
Don't
of
mind,
fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan,
It makes him sound
from the sun-kissed
kind of
shores of Florida.
Almost makes me forget that he raped children.
This sounds like Trump if what the people said who were saying you're fear-mongering about Trump during the first term were right. Like, oh, once he gets in there, the other people will reel him in. This sounds like that Trump, but it's only at the end. Only at the end once it's like, okay, let's wrap it up and let me just like make some notes of what America did.
Yeah, and also interestingly on that point, so like, I think that we can talk about this later, but he sued a lot of people for libel and defamation. He has not gone after people relating to the Epsteins.
Nothing Epstein related, didn't say anything. This would have been the perfect location to say, we're going to release every file and we're going to launch investigations. So the worst of the worst, we're going to go after. If he did that, that would be like a big headline. That'd be the headline from the event, you know? But I mean, like, no attention to it whatsoever. Like, not even like an inkling of attention. Did he just wrap it up?
Yeah, I think he's done.
Is he done?
Yeah, he's wrapping.
He's done. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, so that was the State of the Union from the President of the United States at a record almost 2 hours long. I think we went about 1:57. I think we were like a few minutes from it, but it is the longest State of the Union in American history. The previous record holder was Bill Clinton at 1 hour and 28 minutes. So he beat him by 30 minutes, by half an hour. So he didn't beat him by a little, he beat him by a lot. Now, considering the fact that he started at 9 p.m., a lot of people were starting to go to bed when this thing started.
Right.
By the time this ended, most of America was in bed asleep. Now, I stream to midnight sometimes, so I don't want to say, hey, have a healthier sleep schedule, don't watch Dylan Burns TV. But I don't think that, this was his best performance. I think it dragged on too long. I think that the only thing that really saved it from being a complete clusterfuck was the fact that he could draw upon any number of, I would say, heroes, military veterans from wars past, military veterans from recent wars, victims of violent crime, Olympians. You know, he had a whole host of people that he could pull on, and then he could kind of have this, I don't want to say like a more like almost like a friendly Don Rickles, where he's going back and forth with the crowd. Like, oh, come on, look at this guy. Look at this guy over here. And I think that is where Trump is at his best and in his character work. But that doesn't say anything about the State of the Union. And any time he moved over into the State of the Union, he went into this Trumpisms where it's the best it's ever been. It's the best it ever will be.
Any actual evidence substantiating it. Yeah.
Nothing substantiating it. He's being very proud about the economy. And I heard people in the crowd, I saw Republicans clapping when he talked about how great the economy was. But to be honest, like, I didn't feel no passion about it. They weren't going like, woohoo! They were going woohoo about immigration. They're going woohoo about other things. They were not going woohoo about the economy. And he did not have any good answers. He talked about the Dow Jones being up. He talked about 401ks being up. He talked about the price of gas in like Utah. He was like trying to find literally the lowest place, the places where gas is the lowest in the country. Name those prices out there. But that's not going to change the lived reality of when people actually go to the pump, right? If you live in a bubble where you're not experiencing that, let's say you don't have a car, well, then maybe you could say, oh, that sounds like good leadership. But if you have to go out to the gas station, then it doesn't feel like that. If you have to go out and pay grocery prices, it doesn't feel like that. If you're still feeling the unaffordability of your home, it still feels like that. So I don't think the section where it was most important, the economy section that he focused on, I don't think it was that good. I don't think that there was like rowding from the crowd to like, I don't know, bring more attention from it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't transformative. And I do think that this would have benefited from being like 45 minutes shorter. And if that meant cutting out more, like a ton of the people that they were giving awards to, that probably would have worked in his favor, honestly.
I mean, like, I can see it going either way. The thing is, like, a lot of the conversation ended up being on the economy. Like, even for...
By the way.
Oh,
yeah.
We got like a bunch of drinks right here.
Okay,
ginger ale, root beer,
I'm gonna ginger ale.
Okay.
Lemon lime soda.
Hello, chat. It's my play-by-play. It was really interesting that a lot of the conversation ended up focusing like less on the culture war issues. There's a little bit of that. There was like the one person talk about like trans issues. There was the discussion on Charlie Kirk, but a lot of it was there was some foreign policy. But most of it, aside from the, like I see it, this is like three thirds to me. It's like a third on just like hyping up individual success stories that he had nothing to do with. A third focusing on like the etc. issues, culture war, so on and so forth. And then a third was the economy or like economic issues. So I mean, it's obviously something that's like really big on their mind right now. I think they know how important it is. But like they couldn't just focus on that and the culture war issues, because I think if they didn't have the success stories, then people would have like a bad vibe overall coming from this.
Yeah, no, this was I mean, I don't think this was an impressive speech. I don't think anybody that would have stayed up would have been particularly convinced by this speech. I think Trump was able to say like some economic indicators that work in his favor, but none of these economic indicators that he's naming, like I remember hearing this shit during the Biden administration. Oh, the numbers on look how high the stock market is. Why aren't Republicans talking about the stock market anymore? Ha 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 ha. I'd hear all this stuff. Did that win Joe Biden or Harris the presidency in 24? If those economic indicators aren't being felt in the day-to-day life and the economic pressures that they feel, then it doesn't matter. People didn't vote, because I think you're going to make the stock number go up. They think, oh, you're going to make my life generally more affordable.
Yeah.
You're going to make food less expensive. You're going to make gas less expensive. You're going to make not only rent less expensive, but you're going to make it so there's more rental properties available. There's more houses that make it so maybe I could actually afford to buy a house. This is the thing that they wanted, not that you were going to like increase the AI bubble and then you were going to look at that GDP increase and say, ooh, Nelly, that's great. That's not what people wanted.
It's a bad speech. It's a bad speech. What was the thesis of it? What were the themes? The whole bit at the end sounded nice.
Make America great again.
It had nothing to do with anything else. What is the State of the Union? Because all I got is the State of the Union is a country where the children are beautiful and the men get shot.
Well, if you judge things based off of individual anecdotes, which a lot of Republicans do for all they had, then you would believe that the State of the Union is great.
I mean, like, I remember Biden's speech, and he did say at the end, the State of the Union is great or like good.
Yeah.
He would say, oh, the State of the Union is strong. I think that was literally the word he used, strong. And he would say that at the end. It would get like a bunch of applause. I didn't hear anything like that. Maybe I didn't hear it at the end. Maybe I missed it. But it seemed to just mostly just be him throwing out like a few statistics and then anecdote Andying the rest of the speech.
I think it's literally just being an anecdote Andy and being like, yeah, so here's all these great people in America, and therefore everything in America is awesome. I think that is essentially the thesis, which is bad, but will it be convincing to the average Republican voter?
And then you got like Somali pirates. You got the like just the random fucking nonsense. The SAVE Act, which has no chance of passing, but for some reason, I understand you want to use the State of the Union to like support the legislation that you like, but the SAVE Act is not going to pass, and the SAVE Act doesn't even only have to do with election security. So it's like, what's the purpose of taking this time at the State of the Union when you should be telling us all the things you have done and all the things you are going to do, to be talking about a piece of legislation that has no chance to succeed and is just like another way for the Republicans to say, hey, look, Democrats, they want the election to be rigged. They want the election to be stolen. He did spend a lot of time talking about how they only win when they cheat. He did spend a significant portion of this talking about that, putting across that message.
So fucking ironic.
And a decent amount of Republicans clapped along. They didn't just stand there and say, okay, I got to accept it because this is the leader of a party. I want a fair... No, there was I would say a majority of Republicans were clapping along with that narrative, either to please the party base or because they genuinely believe it as well, or even if they don't believe it, they see it as a tool so they can take a seat whether they deserve it or not.
I can't believe that a lot of them actually believe that. Maybe some of them do, but like a lot of those
Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, those types, I could see it. Marjorie Taylor Greene literally came out of QAnon culture.
Yeah. I mean, I see that, but I think that for a lot of them, they probably know that that's going to resonate well with their voters even after Trump is gone. Like, regardless of what shape the Republican Party takes after Trump is out of office, I think that they are always going to feel safe betting on, well, you know what's going to survive? Hating on Democrats.
Okay. You want to know another reason why they probably went long and why they started late? And I think there might be a strategy to this. The Democratic response is now going to come after, where Abigail Spanberger of Virginia is going to be speaking to whoever the hell is awake at 11:10. I think she's going to be... One second. The Democratic response is in 30 seconds. So she's going to be speaking...
Shit.
Yeah, literally 30 seconds. Number one, Abigail Spanberger, I don't think that was a good choice. I think that they could have gotten somebody that was more fire. I mean, this was Trump in some ways at his tamest, and this should be when Democrats are their least tame. This should be when they are their angriest, when Trump is like, everything's great, everything's fantastic, everything's great. You know, that's what I would want.
Remind me, Abigail Spanberger, she's the new governor of Virginia.
New governor of Virginia.
Gotcha.
Yes,
She's local, she's trusted.
Want to listen?
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to historic Williamsburg. We are gathered here in the chambers of the House of Burgesses. In 1705, the people of the Virginia colony gathered here to take on the extraordinary task of governing themselves.
Why they went so long.
Before
really
there was a
late for
Declaration of
Yeah,
Independence,
I think so.
a Constitution, or a Bill of Rights, there were people in this room. The people who served here ultimately dreamed of what a new nation, unlike anything the world had ever seen, could be. The United States was founded on the idea that ordinary people could reject the unacceptable excesses of poor leadership.
It is Trump who supports the Somali pirates. There you go, Abigail. Sorry.
That would be an example for the world.
Do you like her?
I do.
And this year, as we celebrate 250 years since America declared our independence from tyranny.
She represents a constituency of people who are directly affected by the federal job cuts. They're pissed.
True.
Tonight, as we watched our nation's lawmakers gather for a joint session of Congress, we did not hear the truth from our president. So let's speak plainly and honestly. And let me ask you, the American people watching at home, 3 questions. Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family?
No.
Is the president working to keep Americans safe both at home and abroad?
No.
Is the president working for you? As I campaigned for governor last year, I traveled to every corner of Virginia, and I heard the same pressing concern everywhere. Costs are too high in housing, healthcare, energy, and childcare. And I know these same conversations are being had all across this country. Because since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price. And even though the Supreme Court struck these tariffs down 4 days ago, the damage to us, the American people, has already been done.
And also, it's going to keep
Meanwhile,
going.
the president is planning for new tariffs, another massive tax hike on you and your family.
Yes.
And Republicans in Congress, they remain unwilling to assert their constitutional authority to stop him. They're making your life harder. They're making your life more expensive. They're even making it more difficult to see a doctor. Rural health clinics in Virginia and across the country are already closing their doors thanks to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, championed by the president and Republicans in Congress. And tonight, the president celebrated this law, the one threatening rural hospitals, stripping health care from millions of Americans and driving up costs in energy and housing, all while cutting food programs for hungry kids. But here in Virginia, I am working with our state legislature to lower costs and make the Commonwealth more affordable. And it's not just me. Democrats across the country are laser focused on affordability in our nation's capital and in state capitals and communities across America. In the most innovative and exceptional nation in the history of the world, Americans deserve to know that their leaders are focused on addressing the problems that keep them up at night. Problems that dictate where you live, whether you can afford to start a business, or whether you have to skip a prescription in order to buy groceries. So I'll ask again, is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? We all know the answer is no. I grew up in a house of service. My mother was a nurse and my father was a career law enforcement officer. I began my career by following in my father's footsteps as a federal agent, working money laundering and narcotics cases. I worked side by side with local and state police to keep our community safe and to uphold and enforce the law. Law enforcement officers across the country know that it is a unique responsibility to do the serious work of investigating crimes, comforting victims, and making arrests. It's about building trust, and that requires an abiding sense of duty and commitment to community. And yet, our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans. And they have done it without a warrant. They have ripped nursing mothers away from their babies. They have sent children, a little boy in a blue bunny hat, children to far off detention centers. And they have killed American citizens in our streets. And they have done it all with their faces masked from accountability. Every minute spent sowing fear is a minute not spent investigating murders, crimes against children, or the criminals defrauding seniors of their life savings. Our president told us tonight that we are safer because these agents arrest mothers and detain children. Think about that. Our broken immigration system is something to be fixed, not an excuse for unaccountable agents to terrorize our communities. After working in law enforcement, I continued my career of service as a CIA officer, working undercover to protect the United States and our allies from global threats, terrorism, nuclear weapons, and the aggression of adversarial nations around the globe.
He's seen your files.
But as the president spoke of his perceived successes tonight, he continues to cede economic power and technological strength to Russia bow down to China, bow down to a Russian dictator, and make plans for war with Iran. Here's the truth. Over the last year, through Doge, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions, our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good. So I'll ask again, is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad? We all know the answer is no. In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot. So I'll ask again, is the president working for you?
Fuck you, chat.
We
You deserve it.
all know the answer is no. But here's the special thing about America. On our 250th anniversary, we know better than any nation what is possible when ordinary citizens, like those who once dreamed right here in this room, reject the unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them. We see it in the bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot. As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary. And Americans across the country are taking action. They are going to the ballot box to reject this chaos. With their votes, they are writing a new story, a more hopeful story. In November, I won my election by 15 points. And we won 13 new seats in our state legislature. Because voters decided they wanted something different. Our campaign earned votes from Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everyone in between. Because they knew as citizens they could demand more, that they could vote for what they believe matters, and that they didn't need to be constrained by a party or political affiliation. This is happening across the country. New Jersey elected Mikey Sherrill as governor in a double-digit victory. Democrats flipped state legislative seats in places like Georgia, Iowa, Mississippi, and Texas. The list goes on and on. Ordinary Americans are stepping up to run in the spirit of our forefathers. They are running to demand more and to do more for their neighbors and communities. I know this story well. I first ran for office in 2018 alongside dozens of other Democrats who did the seemingly impossible, flipping 41 seats in Congress. In my case, I was the first Democrat elected in 50 years, swinging our district 17 points. Those who are stepping up now to run will win in November because Americans, you at home, know you can demand more. and that we are working to lower costs. We are working to keep our communities and our country safe, and we are working for you. In his farewell address, George Washington warned us about the possibility of, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men rising to power. But he also encouraged us, all Americans, to unite in a common cause, to move this nation forward. That is our charge once more, and that is what we are seeing across the country. It is deeply American and patriotic to do so, and it is how we ensure that the state of our union remains strong, not just this year, but for the next 250 years as well, because we, the people, have the power to make change, the power to stand up for what is right, the power to demand more of our nation. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.
Okay. What did you think of her speech?
Great, specific, pointed, effective. She actually had details, anecdotal.
Yeah, I think it was better than I expected. I mean, I don't know. It was short and sweet, which I appreciated. She knew that, people are going to bed now. Don't drag it out. Don't because if you just watched 2 hours of Trump doing all that, having a shorter 15-minute speech following that, what's going to be easier to remember? The 15-minute speech or the 2-hour thing? Nobody remembers fucking Abraham Lincoln's speech that went on for 2 hours and he rambled about fucking, somebody's like fantasy sports ball team or whatever. People remember 7 years ago. It was like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I think
he wrote it on a napkin on the way up.
being short was good. I think she did speak to, like you said, to a constituency of laid off federal workers that are going to play particularly well with Democrats in the next election. They usually played well with Democrats. Now it's a one-party state.
Yeah.
Now it's a one-party state with those federal workers. And I think that she touched on all the issues I generally wanted her to touch on. I could have had more detail. There could have been maybe like further depth in like the economic impact of the tariffs instead of just, I think talking about
Stats would be nice.
the $1,700, I think that was a good stat, but I think more detail would have been nice. A few extra minutes to go into that detail would have been fine. But I thought it was fine. I thought she did a better job. She did better than I expected. I don't know if I was to rank it, I'd give it like a 7.5.
I would rank it higher. I fucking love that
7.5 to 8 maybe. 8
So,
maybe.
Here's some of the big things, because I second a lot of the stuff that y'all said already. Two big things stood out to me. First, and both of these things kind of relate to my experience, like now having done like a decent amount of trial work. So first, the theming was really strong, right? There was a strong theme of, is the president working for you? We all know the answer is no. I think that stuck really strongly with just about everybody who watched that.
But for the most part, she left.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all
didn't pick you up.
Oh, yeah. For the most part, she left it to you, the listener, to answer that.
But I think that the theming was incredibly strong. Like, everyone who was watching understood where she was coming from and was on board, and that will stick in people's minds. So that was the first thing. And secondly, relating to what you're saying, like, especially when you're, so like from a trial perspective, if you're in a closing argument, both of the sides will close first, but then at the end of it, whenever a party has time for rebuttal, right? So like a couple minutes extra after they're closing, then you always want your rebuttal to be like short and sweet and to the point, because if you get the last word, then you want to make sure that the thing that you say is brief and poignant and sticks in people's minds. And I think that honestly, for the people who stuck through watching this, and honestly, this might again like be part of the reason why they scheduled as late as they did on the Republican side. For people who actually stuck through and watch it, I think that the rebuttal is going to stick in people's minds way better and more meaningfully than
it's hard to remember what Trump said. I remember that he said the economy is doing great. I remember he said we had the least amount of crime in 125 years. That's like the one statistic I remember. And I do remember that statistic because it's actually a crazy statistic, which might not actually be that far off. It might be one of the statistics he says that's crazy that might actually have some truth to it. But besides that, I don't remember specifics besides all of the feel good stories.
Yeah.
Maybe this was a
called
night to
children beautiful.
make you leave feeling good. Maybe not necessarily convincing you of all of his policies. He was there to tell you that everything's good, everything's fantastic. Now look at these heroes, let them inspire you. Have a good night.
Yeah. No one's on the other side of a war hero. Why they're hiding behind.
That's why, like, I love the rebuttal for that reason, because it was able to cut through the crap of being like, we all know that everything is on fire. We all know that shit is bad. And we all know that he is essentially directly to blame for it, right? Like, being able to just cut to the chase and get to the heart of the issues that really were not addressed at all during the State of the Union.
I remember him saying that they cheated. But honestly, I think the more time... The problem is, voter ID has been a big Republican issue for a while. There's no way to bipartisan solve it, because the bipartisan solution would be everyone gets a voter ID that the government gives you, right? But nobody cares about that. It's not about that.
This is just connecting now. Is the cheating referencing the fact that he's still saying that he won?
He didn't directly do trutherisms. I don't know if somebody said, let's not say that this election was stolen. Let's not make this about that, you know? But with 2 hours, I thought it would go into trutherism, but that is trutherism. That is trutherism. He says when they do win, they win by cheating. When they, that's the only way they can win. And the implicit assumption would be that that's how they won in 2020. They won by stealing. So yes, there was a dash, just a dash though, of election trutherism in our State of the Union. It was in order to support his SAVE Act, as he's trying to get more federal control of local elections, state elections.
I mean, I think the State of the Union was terrible in that, on the one hand, they were trying to say this is a great nation of heroes. And on the other hand, they required several, putting to like legislation and programs to help insufficiently economic worries. And you can't at the same time both be successful and look, we're solving all the problems because everything's on fire right now. It undermines itself. If they just stuck to here are the solutions we're offering for problems, it would have done better. But they couldn't help themselves and had to fall back into glazing themselves, which is inauthentic and purposeless.
I remember it was, if the good parts of the economy are the Trump economy, the bad parts of the economy are the Biden economy. I remember him saying that about 6 months ago. It seems that enough time has passed. The polling number shows clearly that they're blaming the current president for the state of the economy at this point. It's been over 400 days. Yeah. You can't, people talk about what you do in the first 100 days. Well, you've had 400 of those.
So, have you gotten your Doge check yet? Remember all the Doge cuts? It's supposed to be we'd all get a check?
Yeah.
Have you gotten your tariff check yet?
I haven't gotten either. I'm still waiting. But maybe they sent it back to my old house and then it wasn't there, and then they could have sent it to the new house. Who knows? Could be lost in the mail. I think we've touched on mostly everything. I think Abigail did a good job. I give her better credit than I expected. There's a certain group of people that's never gonna like her because she's a CIA agent, obviously. So there's no way to like make those people happy ultimately. But when it comes to the job that she came into that room to do, she did it. She did it fine. I would say that considering the people that they could have had giving this, it could have been Chuck Schumer. It could have been Kathy Hochul. It could have been it could have been Gavin. There's a whole bunch of people that it could have been that I think would have been a bad idea. It could have been Hakeem Jeffries.
No.
There's a whole host of people that it could have been. So I think she did better than any of those people.
Yeah.
She's a symbol of the new wave of success. That's why she's a good pick. And also the people who voted for her, who she represents, are watching this tonight. They're the kind of nerds in Northern Virginia who are most likely to stay up and watch.
Fair. That is true.
Yeah. I got nothing else on. I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in the morning.
Okay, final ranking for how do you think Trump did out of 10? For Trump, not for us.
And just so what's the metric? Like, I guess overall I would give him probably above average. I would probably give him like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And that's just like in terms of like how much is he going to lose his supporters from tonight? I don't think that he's gonna bleed any support. No,
I don't think he's gonna bleed. I think that there's people who tuned in tonight upset about the state of the country.
Yeah.
Who are gonna walk away very dissatisfied.
Yeah.
And that he's already doing very very bad with centrists, or you would call like independents would be the term.
I don't think that he lost a lot of people who already were supporting him at this point.
No, but I think he definitely probably turned away some people who were willing to tolerate his taste in the voting booth before.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. So yeah, I'd probably say about 7 because also I don't know, factor in some amount of like presentation. Like he's a good orator or presenter. I don't know. He's got like he can speak comfortably on his feet and sound entertaining. I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, I think that you're right that a lot of maybe undecided Trump-leaning people will probably be turned away, but like a lot of his core supporters are probably going to be pretty hard in his corner still at this point.
Yeah, I would give him a 6. The only reason I'd grade him lower is I don't think that, like, if this was a speech any other year, okay, maybe. But considering that this is the worst he's ever pulled going into a State of the Union, worse than Obama did at this point, worse than Bush did at this point, worse than any other recent president did at this point, down 27. I mean, we're talking about he's going into the low 30s, where at this stage, he's polling worse with certain independents than he did around January 6th.
So Dylan,
yeah,
what you're saying is that you're giving him a 6. I'm giving him a 7. What you're saying is we're rating him 6-7. Is that what you're saying?
You don't have to be with her.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be with her.
I saw the opportunity.
You don't have to be.
I'm so hip and cool with the young kids. I swear, chat.
If you're in need of
I'm in with the TikToks, all right? I'm so cool with it.
Okay. Maybe Twitter was right.
Alice, what would you rate? What would you give how would you rate that?
4.
4?
I think he hid his own failures behind injured veterans, and I think he owes the troops an apology.
Well, Mr. Trump, your turn to respond to this stream. If you don't, it's an admission of guilt.
True.
That's how it works. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into today's stream. I know it was a little unorthodox. We were a little late. We just kind of streamed the State of the Union. But I like bouncing off of people for these streams, and I love having on fantastic guests.
Aw, thank you.
Riley Grace Rochong and the beautiful Alice, which goes by what online?
She'srightshow.com.
Sheisrightshow.com, which
You can get this hat.
he's on the list.
On the list.
He's on the list is on the hat. And for the rest of you, I will be live tomorrow at a normal time as if we were streaming normally. And I hope to see you all there. If you guys want to support the stream, you can go to DylanBurns.tv and donate and sub there. You can join Sociopathogen, Kazim, Starker, and all these other fantastic people who are on screen having their messages posted and also not having any cut of the portions that you donate to this stream taken out by Jeff Bezos, YouTube executives, or anybody else, okay? DylanBurns.tv. You can also support us at DylanBurns.tv on Patreon. Support on-the-ground freelance war documentaries as we go back to the Ukraine, to the front line in about 1 month. We're going to be heading back over there in a month to be filming the battle for Konstantinivka, probably the most violent front of the war at the moment. And we need to document what's going on there because the battle of the Donbass is not over, despite how bad the presidency wants it to be over. The war in Ukraine got barely a mention today, and then he brushed off of it. 24 hours, we were told, and we are trapped in Groundhog Day. Truly. Good night, everybody. Good luck. Have a good one.
Night all.
See you tomorrow.